So, a very warm welcome from Southend, Echo Golf Mike Charlie. We're in the wonderful Embraer Phenom 100 with the EV mod, and I'll go into that in a bit. We've got a host of other mods as well, like the lighting mod and the Phenom branding and so on. But what's important is the aircraft, because it is absolutely lovely. And today we're going to be flying into Jersey, Echo Golf Juliet. And if I bring up the Navigraph charts, the route, oops, let's try that again, shall we? There we go, a bit better. You can see our route takes us from Southend, then across the north of London, then to the south, and eventually at LELNA we'll pick up the LELNA 1 Juliet arrival for the ILS 26 with the Jersey 2 transition. And it's all fairly straightforward, except you'll notice here that there's nothing listed, no departure listed for Southend. And actually that's not strictly the case, because there are some unofficial / official departures listed. So if you go to let's do that again. If you go to charts and then go to departures, SIDS, you'll see there are two listed. There's one which takes you to the south, the Lid and Dover departures, and there's some that take you to the north and west of London, and this is one that we're going to be doing. And essentially you have either the localizer ILS frequency or the DME frequency dialed in, and you take off on either 23 or 05. You climb straight ahead until either 1,500 feet, until you're 1,500 feet and 2.5 miles out of Southend, and then you turn right direct EVNAS, and you reach EVNAS at 3,000 on the QNH. So, you know, fairly straightforward, but that won't come up anywhere, so you need to put these waypoints in. And you could, of course, fly to them old school style, because they're VORs mostly, and Henton is an NDB. Except we won't. We're just going to pop these in as individual waypoints, because they're all direct twos, so it'll amount to the same thing. So you've got to go routing around to get this, okay? And once it's on your screen, you can pin it just by using the pin icon here or here, and it'll pin it to the bottom. Okay, so let's get this satellite view is wonderful, but let's get the IFR view. And it's not a particularly long flight. We're going to file for flight level 280. I think that'll be generously high, but we should easily make 280. We might even ask for higher. I don't know. So with that in mind, I'm going to take this off the screen. Oh, one more thing, sim brief. I've got no alternate listed, because then the route gets a bit mucky. You've got lines going all over the place. So I've got no route alternate listed, but when I did earlier, I did Southampton, and it gave me 770 kilos of fuel. Okay, so that's what we'll load, 770. And we will take 3 passengers today, and we'll get all that loaded up in a moment. So I'm going to take this off the screen, so I will see it and you won't. And here we are at Southend. I need to get some traffic started, and we're going to use Beyond ATC, which is going to be very interesting, because you know it might work with this departure, it might not. We'll take it on the chin. We'll see what happens. So here we go. It's an absolutely delightful looking jet. It really is. I've got the chocks on. I've got the cargo bays open. It's got cargo bay in the back. It's got its own GPU. It's got engine covers. What I didn't do is to open the door, because I want to show you the door. Because imagine walking up to this aircraft. It's a very light jet, VLJ, and when you get into it, let's just open that door. Look at that, it's got a full air stair. So the ramp presence of this aircraft is huge. It really is just lovely. It's just, yeah, it looks $1 million. It looks $5 million. So anyway, with all that in mind, let's get underway. So the first thing I'm going to do is just let's get the loading in. So we do 770 on the fuel. So just going to drag this up a bit. So what have we got? 775, that'll do nicely. And I'm not going to put anybody next to me. 0. I'm going to put passenger 1 in. I'm going to make them 85. I'm going to put another passenger in. Okay, well, we'll make them 70, and we're going to do one more passenger, and we'll do not 450. Goodness me, there we go. 450, maybe some baggage. Let's do 15 kilos of bags. Not 150 kilos, 15 kilos. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's all loaded, and we'll just position the CFG a little bit. There we go. That'll do. So, without further ado, let's get inside the aircraft. We've got the GPU on, but we do need to take... We'll leave the chocks on for a moment. We've got the bags loaded, the passengers loaded. We'll get rid of the covers and the pitot heat and static ports. So we'll get the door shut as well. I think there's a click spot. Where is it? It is somewhere. Where is it? There. Okay. And I'll get the checklist up so we can get rid of some of those static elements. You can see it's got the gust lock on. So chocks can stay on, covers can come off, the cargo doors can get closed, the control lock can come off. Just straighten the yoke. In fact, I'm going to switch the yoke off. And the GPU can stay on. Okay, so we now hide the checklist. We've got GPU connected, so I'm going to press that, and everything should come in, start firing up. I'm going to put nav light on. Other lighting, we're going to get a little bit of lighting on the panel, upwash, and cabin lighting. Cabin lighting got that nice nifty, textured lighting as a mod. And then we've got the Prodigy splash screen installed as well. Okay, so let's switch on the middle screen. Now, as always, I'm going to just populate this, not through its menu, which we can do, but I'm going to do it through the GTN. So I'm going to wait for the GTN to fire up. Now, it's important when you do it this way that you don't adjust the altitude constraints through the GTN. So let's do flight plan. Origin, we are at Echo Golf Mike Charlie. We're going to Echo Golf Juliet Juliet. And we're going to add in EVNAS, which is the first waypoint. Enter. We're going to enter Lambourne, so Lima Alpha Mike. Duplicates found, we want the UK, that'll do. Then we want Brooklands Park, Bravo Papa Kilo. Duplicates found, we want UK. Next one we want Henton, Hotel Echo November. Add waypoint, and then we want Compton, so Charlie Papa Tango. Okay, at Compton we can do an airway, so we click on this. Now this is the GTN 70 by PMS 50. This is the payware version, and you can do airways on it. You can do actually a lot more, but there is a free version available by at the PMS 50 website. And it will allow you to populate the Garmin 1000 the way I'm doing it now, except you won't be able to do airways, so you would have to put in all the waypoints manually, and I'll list those at the end. So Compton, we want airway, and we want the Yankee 321. So Yankee 321, and that's all the way to PEPIS, I believe. PEPIS will load. Alright, so now we go down to PEPIS and we do airway, and that's to Quebec 41 all the way to Southampton. Okay, and Southampton we've got, and we do airway, it's the Mike 195. Southampton's got a lot of airway, so it does take a short while to get them loaded. And we're going to take that to, I think it's MARUK. Yep, MARUK. We'll load that. At MARUK, we'll do another airway. LELNA so that's a 621, and we'll do that to LELNA, and we'll load that. Okay, so that's all the waypoints entered, and I will list them on the screen. And what we need to do now is to enter. There's no departure at Southampton, although I've shown you on the Evercraft charts how to see the, if I just bring it back in, and bring it up on the screen, it says very clearly that these routes do not constitute SIDS. These routes are not assessed for obstacle clearance. These routes are not wholly contained within controlled airspace. Localizer DMEs read 0 at threshold of 0.5 and 2.3. So it's a bit of a sort of disclaimer, you know, they're not really SIDS, and yet they are, and yet here they are. So let's take that off the screen. So there is an arrival, and it is the LELNA 1 Juliet, which is LELNA 1 Juliet. We load that, and then we want, okay, off Jersey Josie, procedure, approach, and we want the ILS. Where's the ILS? ILS 26, and we want the Jersey 2 transition. There we go, and we load. Right, and that's all you need to do in here. Okay, so I'm going to switch that off now, and I'm going to bring up the flight plan page. You can see it if I just zoom in and out. You'll see that the route is loaded correctly all the way to Jersey. There you go. Okay, just zoom back in, and if I bring the chart back in very quickly, you'll see that EVNAS has got it at 3,000 feet. So we want to put that in as a constraint. So let's do, well, actually we might not need to do that. In fact, it's telling me we're going to be at 4,900 feet there. I'm not quite sure why it's done that, but I think we'll run with it. We'll see what ATC have got to say. Let's just get our clearance. Let's get the ATIS first of all.
And departing runway 23. Transition level 060. Read back all hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information hotel. Southend Airport Information Hotel. 1606 Zulu. Wind 2900 at 8. Few clouds at 4,900. Temperature 23. Dew point 12. QNH 1011. Landing and departing runway 23. Transition level 060.
060.
Hold short instructions.
060 and 1011.
Information hotel.
Right, just change frequency to tower, change the CDI to the GPS. We're on runway 23, and I know the heading there is 233, so let's just move the heading back to the top, we'll sync it, and then move it to the right to 233. So 233 set and checked. Not sure why it's showing. Oh, that's the first waypoint, isn't it? So okay, so we take off, and then on the runway heading we'll get our IFR clearance.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, request IFR clearance to Jersey Airport.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, Southend Tower, expect runway 23. Climb 6,000 feet on runway centerline, then expect radar vectors EVNAS. Squawk 3212.
Expect runway 23. Climb 6,000 feet on runway centerline, then expect radar vectors EVNAS. Squawk 3212. November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, read back correct. Call me back when ready for start or taxi.
Wilco, November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
Right, so I've got the squawk entered, and that is 3212, and I've set it to altitude reporting, and we've got 6,000 dialed in as the altitude, so you just use the altitude select there and dialed it into 6,000, so it's set and checked on the scoreboard. What we can do is just get the passengers belted in. In fact, let's have a quick look at the passengers, shall we? Let's have a look. Let's go and say hello to our guests. Hello, hello. Yes. Oh, they're busy looking out the window, so we'll just go back to our our duties. Right, so I think we're pretty much ready to start. So we're going to get the batteries on, and we're going to get the generators on, 1 and 2. Going to get the bus tie on and switch our oxygen on. And you hear that noise and you get the oxygen on. Just check the park breakers on. Park brake is on. Checked on. And now we can just get the ground crew to remove the chocks. And I'll just hide this. We're going to start number 2 first because the GPU is on the left side. So we start number 2 and then they can remove this and we'll start number 1. So just hide that for a moment. So we're just going to ask for startup because I've positioned the aircraft so we're sort of facing out. We just taxi off. So let's just ask for startup.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima at ramp 101, request engine start.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, startup approved. Call when ready for taxi.
Affirm, startup approved. November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
Okay, so we can start our engines. So notice that there's no beacon light on, and if we go inside to the lighting panel, there's no beacon light. That's because the beacon is automatic in the Phenom. So what we need to do is to get number 1 ready. So we do ignition to automatic. Fuel pump can come onto automatic, and we'll just tell ground crew that we're starting. Clear. Thank you very much. We'll wave our number 2 finger at them. Not 2 fingers, number 2 fingers to say we're starting number 2. So off we go. So, and on the Phenom, you just move it around to start, and the rest is automatic. You don't need to move any other levers or put the fuel on or anything. So move it around. There we go. So we've got M1 rising, got fuel flow, got EGT, the big fan is turning, all temperature and pressure is registering. Well, the temperature is not quite there. It is now. It's registering. Okay, so a good start on number 2, and we'll just remove the ground power. But before I do that, I've got to actually switch it off. Switch the ground power off. Remove the GPU, and now we can start number 1. So put the fuel pump onto automatic. Put the ignition on, and then we move it to run and then to start. So we've got N2 building, fuel flow, light up, big fan is turning, pressure's registering, temperature's registering. Okay, so good start number 1. Okay, so generators are online, hydraulic pressure is low, so we'll switch the hydraulic system on. Then we can get the sorry, that's not the hydraulic system, that's the hydraulic system. That's the pitot heat and angle of attack. And we need to get the bleeds on. The bleeds are here, both. And I'll put the pressurization to automatic. Okay, so that's got rid of all the cautions. And I think we can put our flaps down. And I think we've got the passenger signs are on. So it's belts and then PED, personal electronic devices and belts. So we're good. We've got one stage of flap. So it's got 4 stages, 1, 2, 3 and full, number 4. They're shown in degrees in this. I'm sure they'll get round to putting that right. So I think we're good for taxi now. So taxi to runway, please.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Request taxi to the active.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Runway 23 taxi via Charlie, Alpha.
Runway 23 taxi via Charlie, Alpha, November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
Okay, so we're clear to taxi. I don't know what that Vulcan's doing. It seems to be half in and half out of the building. Maybe it's not, maybe it's just my eyes. Right, so parking brake can come off. Okay. And we'll just give it a little bit of a nudge with the power levers. And we're rolling. Okay, so taxi, Charlie and Alpha. So it's basically along here and to the left. There's no tiller on this. It's just you steer it through the rudder pedals. And the more modern Embraers business jets have got a fly-by-wire. This one doesn't have fly-by-wire, but it has brake-by-wire, believe it or not. So anyway, taxiway, Charlie, and then Alpha. So Charlie just takes you along the terminal. And round we go. And this is a freeware Southend Airport. I've just added a few static objects like stairs, ground power units, baggage trolleys, that sort of thing. There we go. We'll keep following the yellow brick road. And when we get to the hold, we'll just check the trims. Okay, I'm just going to come to a junction here, so quick look left, clear on the left, clear on the right, so we can carry on. Okay, and the hold is just coming up here, so we'll just do a quick stop and just check the trim and the takeoff config. So there we go, just come to stop before the stop line. So trim is set for takeoff, it's in the green band, and takeoff config is here.
Takeoff okay.
Takeoff okay. So all I need to do is to press the toga button, which is there, or on your honeycomb. That will give me a flight director, and it'll be set to take off vertical sense and lateral sense. So the indications for me to follow the flight director will be in the takeoff. So here we go. There's the flight director. Takeoff, takeoff. And now we'll just request departure.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, holding short, runway 23.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Did not copy.
I don't know if it's doing that lately. I'm not sure what's happened. I need to do it manually, so give me a sec. November 995 Foxtrot Lima, ready for takeoff.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Did not copy.
November 9905 Foxtrot Lima, request takeoff.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, Southend Tower, wind 290 at 8, fly heading tree 00, runway 23, cleared for takeoff.
Fly heading 300, runway 23, cleared for takeoff, November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
Okay, so that's contrary to what they said. They said initially runway heading 6,000 feet. Now they're telling me 300. Now that is a heading I'm pretty certain is direct to whatever the first waypoint is called, EVNAS. So what we'll do, we will climb at or above 1,500 feet and 2.5 on the DME, which we didn't set, which I will do now. So we want 11135. So let's just set that quickly. Should have done this earlier. My bad. So 11135, and we'll flip it across. Okay, and then we should have a DME down here. No, PFD options. Bearing one, is it? Yeah, there we go. There it is. So, no, that's GPS. I want nav number 1. There it is. That's what I want. So, there's the DME. So, let's get the landing light on. Get the strobe light on. And we should bing bong them in the back. But we can't, so we'll just turn around and say get ready for takeoff. So we can move forward now. Clear on the right. The approach path is, I think, clear. Yeah, that's not coming our way. And we're clear on the left. Okay. So this runway is easily long enough for this jet. Let's just get lined up. Come to a stop. Okay, we'll start the timer. So we go back. Timer. We want to press start. So it's the larger part of this knob. Move it to start. Then press enter. There you go. Ticking upwards. Now we get the flight plan on and get rid of the flashing cursor. Okay, so ready for takeoff. So just spool the engines up, making sure they're stable, both equal, and bring it up to takeoff power. Takeoff power is set. Speed is alive. Checked once, twice, 3 times. Try and hold that centre line. 70 knots we have. 95 V1 and rotate. Around we go. Just follow that flight director. Positive rate of climb. Gear can come up. And remember, the flight director at the moment is just indicating straight on the takeoff profile. Okay, so we want to climb on this to 1,500 feet. And these aircraft are designed to fly on autopilot, pretty much single pilot, so you put the autopilot on pretty much straight away.
November
So we will do that.
995 Foxtrot Lima, contact Southend departure
Autopilot
130.78.
Yaw damper
Contact Southend departure
on.
130.78.
We go to heading mode,
995
which
Foxtrot
is the
Lima.
runway heading, and we go flight level change. So we
Southend,
stay on that.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Good day, 1,500 feet. November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Southend departure.
Flaps
Good
can
day.
come up.
Identified. Climb to flight level 140.
And we can climb 180 to start
Climb to
with.
flight level 140. November 995
We are
Foxtrot
now
Lima.
2 miles from the threshold, 2.2,
November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Clear direct EVNAS.
and we can go right now to EVNAS. So let's just bring the heading bug round.
Resume own navigation. November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
And if you look at the map, you'll see that there's this dotted line I'm moving There it is, green line. It will disappear after 5 seconds. Okay, and that appears when you move the heading knob. Okay, so I'm just positioning that green line to go on top of EVNAS there. So we're on heading mode at the moment. I'm going to change now to climb power. Bring the throttles back. Climb power we have set, so you'll see it's in the detent, and climb is set here, and the aircraft is now rolled out. And let's just check we're still on EVNAS. Yeah, there we go. So we're nicely on profile, and we're just at 6,000, so we need to start climbing again. So just add a bit of altitude, go to flight level change, and we'll climb now at 210 knots. There we go. Okay, 210 knots, and we've cleared up to flight level 140. So just get 140 dialed in. 140. Right, after takeoff checks, so we can do flaps are up, lights can come off. Okay, so I think we're looking good. We've got quite a way to go to EVNAS. Okay, so we're above 6,000, which is the transition altitude. So we can now go to standard, and to get to standard you go to PFD options, standard barrow, and then it shows here standard barrow. Let's have a quick look outside. It looks $1 million, doesn't it? Look at that, beautiful airplane. So can we see Southend in there? There. Into London, we're going to skirt all the way around London to the north. What a beauty this is. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so above 10,000. Right, we're just coming up to EVNAS, so I'm going to go to nav mode. It's on GPS, and it's going to pick up now EVNAS to Lambourne any second.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, contact London Control 118 decimal for 75. Contact London Control 118 decimal for 75, November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Have a good day.
So passenger signs can
London
come
Control,
off.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Good day. Climbing flight level 116 for flight level 140.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, London Control, identified. Climb to flight level 280.
Climb to flight level 280, November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
Okay, so 280. I've gone past it. So 280 is now set and checked. It's now on EVNAS to Lambourne, and we just need to steady our to sync our heading bug by pressing the middle of it, the heading knob, and that's centered our heading bug. Okay, so I think we're all good, and we'll just check the passengers. Oi, you in the back, you okay? Great. We pride ourselves on our service, of course we do. It's lovely. This is absolutely lovely, this aircraft. These are the famous Embraer ram horn yokes, replaced these days by side sticks, but their airliners have still got similar things. Of course, the Concorde had ram horn yokes, as did the Trident. Okay, so we're just passing 150. We're on standard pressure. Lights are off, and I think we're all good. And we've got, let's have a look, 4 miles to run to Lambourne. So if we go outside, we should see Lambourne, which is the home of what's it called? No, so let's go to my graph charts. Stapleford, there we go. So we should see Stapleford somewhere down there. In fact, it's right below us, there it is. Stapleford, that's it. And Stapleford, that's the main runway there. And it's famously got half of it is concrete or tarmac, and half of it is grass. And that's shown in the sim. Some I've lost sight of it. Somewhere down there. There it is. So half it concrete, tarmac, half it grass. Okay, so we're at Lambourne. So that craft is now banking towards Brooklands Park, yep. And we're still climbing nicely at 210 knots at 2,150 feet per minute. So let's sync our heading bug. There we go. So this has got the EV mod on it, which is done by a very kind chap. It's available for free on the flightsim.to website. And basically it adjusts the flight model, it adjusts the ground handling, it makes it fly like the Phenom 100 EV, which is the latter day, the current version of the Phenom. So the Phenom of today has slightly more up-rated engines that are more fuel efficient. And by being more fuel efficient, you get another 150 miles of range on it. They also are increase in power, not by a great deal, but actually enough for it to make a difference. It's 35 pounds of thrust each side, which doesn't sound very much, especially when you compare it to like a 777 with 90,000 pounds of thrust. But 35 pounds a side in something this small does make a difference. So it climbs really well. Look, we're climbing now 2,350 feet per minute. That's not too shabby, really. So the EV mod, and if you go outside you'll see it's got some extra branding on it. Sim's frozen for a sec. Let's hope it comes back. Any time now. There we go. You'll see it's got the Phenom 100 EV branding there and on the tail. Okay. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the other attributes of the EV, for instance, spoilers, which the EV does have. To be fair to it, though, this thing doesn't really need spoilers. It slows down when you reduce the power. So, yeah, it would be nice, but I don't think Cotsborough are interested in modelling that. So we can live with the EV mod, but without spoilers. Okay, so we're just at Brooklands Park, and we're now heading towards Henton. So I'm just going to centre my heading bug since we've rolled out of the turn. We're just passing 232 for 280. And okay, so now we can centre the heading knob. Okay, so let's get to the cruise altitude. And I did this flight a little bit earlier, and I had some trouble with the top of descent, which is why I said not to enter the constraints in the GTN 750. And I'm hopeful that I think it'll be okay this time, because you can see here it's got a VNAV profile and it's got cruise altitude set here. So I think we're okay now. So when you use a GTN, just put the waypoints in, but use the Garmin 1000 to adjust any of these waypoints and constraints. Not that you would generally need to do that. Okay, so just passing 256, climbing up to 280. And it's still climbing nicely at 2,000 feet per minute. That's jolly nice, thank you. We'll take that. when it eventually begins to level off. We'll stay in climb mode till the aircraft sort of accelerates and gets to its maximum cruise, and then we'll bring the power levers back to cruise setting, which it's FADEC, and these are not detents, they're just soft detents, so you move the throttles and leave them in the stops, but there's no physical detent here. So let's have a look. Right, 271, so there you go, you can see it's captured the altitude. So can we see London? No. It's there though, I do promise you it's there. So 277, so we should start to reduce the rate of climb. There we go. As it levels out to 280, and very nicely done, captured. Okay, so we'll stay at climb power until it sort of runs out of puff and we get to our top speed, and then we'll reduce the power levers to cruise. So it's now gaining speed, 220 pretty much. It might get up to about 240, 245, 250. We'll see where it goes. It obviously depends on the environment. What we can do in the meantime is we can look at this flight plan here, and Henton is sort of down towards the bottom of the screen. So these are waypoints that we've been to, but what I want to see is those that we have yet to get to. So let's do that by getting the cursor, pressing this button, getting the cursor, then using the large part of this knob and scrolling the wheel forward until Henton goes to the top. Okay, there we go, and now we can switch off the cursor. So 240 on the speed. We've got a headwind of about 50 knots, so that's going to really affect our ground speed. So I think it's going to top out, yeah, 244, 245, something like that. So now I'm going to just bring back the power levers until it says cruise here, CRZ. So let's do that. Cruise. Okay, it's climbed up to about 248. Not too bad. But unfortunately we are going to have a headwind of 50 or so knots, so that's going to eat into our speed. Nevertheless, it's still doing 344 across the ground. And when it rolls out of the turn, I'll centre the heading bug. A big advantage of the Phenom over the, for instance, the Mustang, and I do love the Mustang, make no mistake, I have a massive soft spot for it, the slotation as they call it, but the Phenom's got these knobs and buttons on the bezel of the centre screen. Centre screen is much smaller than it is in the Mustang, and you've also got the keypad with more knobs just below it, whereas in the Mustang they are behind the throttle quadrant, so you're operating something here for an operation you need to see here, so it's much harder to use. So in convenience, in terms of convenience, much easier on the Phenom. So let's just centre the heading bug. Good airmanship. Let's have a quick look outside. What can we see today? Well, we can see a lot of lovely clouds. It looks like it's about Heathrow down there, possibly. So a lot of traffic down there. Look at this jet, isn't it? Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Control up there. 12 miles to run to Compton. So we've got now a quartering headwind of 50 knots, and it looks roughly like it'll be 25 knot headwind. So that's, our speed is now 356. So it would be 350, 380 or thereabouts, you know, if we didn't have a headwind. That's really quite good, isn't it, for a little jet. It's quite turbulent today, no doubt due to that headwind. There's a lot more cloud here than there was at Southend. We didn't really fly through much cloud, I don't think. But remiss of me not to check, because we should have put engine and anti-icing on. Okay. So, good time to look at the approach, I guess, because it won't be long before we start descending. So, let me get the approach plate. So, we've got the LELNA 1 Juliet, which is from Airway November 621 to LELNA at 20,000. That'll be our first descent to 20,000, or flight level 200. Then it's a left turn to Angler, and then pretty much direct south to Jersey. At Jersey, we'll pick up the ILS after overflying Jersey VOR. Then we go outbound on a sort of southeasterly heading, left turn to intercept the localizer, and then the glide. So we need to get these dialed in. So 112.2. Let me get that in first. So I'm going to put that into nav 2. So if you remember to flip-flop between nav 1 and nav 2, you press this knob, and then we dial in 112. We need to do 112.2, I think it was. So we just do the smaller part of the wheel. There we go, 112.2. And now we flip-flop from the standby to the active. There we go. So that's given us a DME there, and now we want the ILS frequency. Now we've just done a turn after Compton, so I'm just going to set the heading bug, and we've now got pretty much a direct crosswind of 50 knots, so we've got no headwind component, so our speed should be around 380, in fact 388, 390. So, you know, that's pretty good, I would think. So, let's get the ILS frequency. So, the ILS frequency 110.3. 1103. So, we want to do that on nav 1. So, we press the knob here. Oops. Do that again. Press the knob there. And it was, I can't remember. Oops. 1103. 110 we've got. And then 3. The digits after the decimal point you do on the smaller part of the knob, just roll the wheel. So 3 we want. 1103, and we flip-flop that. There we go. And what we should do now is I'm just going to put it very quickly, sync the heading knob, make sure it is centered. I'm going to press the heading bug, so it's now in heading mode. Okay, I'm now going to change the course to the localizer, and I'm going to put the localizer course in, which is 263. I'm going to move that now to 263. So I'm just using the word of the mouth, 263. So I want 263. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to nav mode. Course goes on to there, and we want to go back to nav mode. There we go. little bit more housekeeping. I want to move the SAM waypoint to the top of the screen. So I'm just going to click on there and use the bigger part of that knob to scroll it upwards. There we go. And then we get rid of the blinking cursor. I was a bit late in changing it back to FMS, so it's just re-intercepting the course. There we go. And again, once it's rolled out of the turn, I'll sync the heading knob. So again, we've got pretty much a direct crosswind, 46 knots. So speed is a bit diminished, not sure why. It was nearly 390 only, but I don't quite know why it's... Oh mate, let's resync the heading knob. There we go. Okay, so we're set on the ILS. Next thing we need to know is our top of descent. So what we can do, we can zoom in and out. So we can do that two ways, using this knob here, which is the range, or this knob here, which is also the range. So just put the cursor on the top and use the wheel of the mouse. We'll just scroll in and out like that. And can I see a top of descent anywhere? No, I can't. So I think I can actually. I think it's there. What was that bottom of descent? That's okay, so what we do to just follow that track, let's get the flight plan on. Just zoom in a little bit. And we'll get the cursor on. And we'll just scroll down the list of waypoints till we see top of descent. I haven't seen it yet. There it is, top of descent. Well, it's just before LELNA. That's probably because it doesn't know we need to be at LELNA at 20,000. So let's try and make that adjustment now. So LELNA, yeah, see it's saying 27 there. So what we need to do, scroll it along there, and now we can edit this. And we'll do 2. 0. 0. 0.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, London
0.
Control. Expect LEL 1 Juliet,
Enter.
runway 26.
So LELNA 1 Juliet, runway 26. I need to accept that clearance.
Expect LELNA 1 Juliet, runway 26, November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
Okay, so in telling it that we want to be at LELNA at 20,000 feet, or flight level 200, you'll see that the top of descent has moved forward, so it's now just north of waypoint MARUK. So let me just switch this flight plan screen off. Okay, and MARUK is a little bit further up. Yeah, I can't quite see it. It's just probably just off screen. Or is it there? There it is, top of descent. There. So it's not far to go. So we've got 17 miles to Ibnid, and then another 5 miles or so. No, just 5 miles or so to the top of descent. In fact, there it is, yeah. So Ibnid, another 5 miles. So we've not got far to go to our top of descent. I'm just centre the heading bug. Let's have a quick look around. Oh, the power base is lowered a little bit. It's just beauty, just Brazilian excellence. Beautiful. It's got a slightly bigger twin in the stable, Embraer Phenom 300, which has got seriously powerful engines, 3,500 each side, it'll take 8 people in the back, so that's 4 seats and 2 club, I think. But that's one of the fastest certified single pilot aircraft there is, business aircraft there is. Right, so top of descent is just coming up after in bid, so I'm going to dial in now 200. So we've got 200 set and checked. We're going to go VNAV, so we'll just press the VNV button here. That gives us V path.
Foxtrot Lima, LELN 1 Juliet, runway 26. Report ready for descent.
LELN 1 Juliet, runway 26 call when ready, November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
So what we'll do, we'll get descent clearance before they tell us to descend, and then we can come down in our own time. Oops.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, descent to 2,000 feet, QNH 1016.
Descend to 2,000 feet, November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
Well, we all know that it should be LELNA flight level 200, so we will stick by that. So we've got VNAV set, we've got the altitude dialed in, so we will just stick at our altitude. Let the airplane come down on VNAV. It should take us to LELNA at flight level 200. Now, when we get to Jersey, it's more than likely that Beyond ATC will offer vectors, and I don't want to do that. I want to self-position. Okay, so that's what we will do, irrespective of the offer of vectors. Okay, and if they start getting shouty because we're not following the instructions, I'll switch Beyond ATC off. Okay, so we've now got just a few miles to run to top of descent, so the aircraft will start to descend on its own. And if we just look at the approach chart very quickly, we get over the VOR at 3,000 feet. So after we get to flight level 200, we need to dial in 3,000 for Jersey VOR, Juliet Sierra Yankee. Okay, I'm also going to get the second not that one. I want bearing 1, the pointer. There we go. So that's the pointer. Now we're going to start descending, and I need to manage the speed manually, the throttles manually. I'm going to get the second DME on. No, maybe I can't. Okay, I'm just going to bring the throttles back a little bit. I don't want to go too fast. So we're descending at the moment on VNAV. So we'll get to LELNA at flight level 200. Then we will come down manually, and I'll show you how we're going to do that in a sec. I'm just trying to get a second DME on. No. NAV1, no. NAV2. Is that going to work? Dear me, right, so we need to switch it from NAV1 to NAV2. Let's move that cursor, and we'll use a small button to switch it to NAV2. That's now showing the distance to go to Jersey VOR. So we've got 2.5 to run to MARUK. We're descending at about 255. Shortly it'll go MARUK to LELNA. We've got 5,000 to lose. There we go, MARUK to LELNA, 15 to run. Okay, good. And I'm just going to centre the heading bug since we've rolled out of the turn. You can see the blue bearing indicator there. That's pointing at Jersey VOR. And actually we've got the DME there as well, so that's fine. Now I can change this one back, I think. Yeah. So let me just do that. So DME, go back to here, change that to nav1. Yeah. So we've got nav1 DME here, which will be the ILS, and here we've got Jersey VOR, 55 to run. Okay. So 3,000 feet to lose. We've got 8.5 miles pretty much. Just going to reduce the power a little bit, bring the speed back to maybe 250. And we've got the little magenta speed prediction tape here that we can use to really effectively help us set our power levers. So we can see in 5 seconds, you know, the speed is still going to drop. So I'm just going to add a bit of power now until that magenta line disappears. There we go. It's just about going, just back on. There we go. So I've just set the power levers really accurately, so we maintain 250 knots. Okay, so we're going to get to LELNA flight level 200 as per the instructions, which are here. No, here. And what we can do, instead of leveling off, I'm just going to dial in a lower frequency. Yeah, I'm going to dial in a lower frequency, so let's dial in 3,000 feet. That's what we've got to be overhead. 3,000 feet overhead up Jersey VOR. .3,000 feet. We're continuing descent on VNAV, and that will get us to Jersey at the right altitude. But what we're going to do now, we're going to switch off nav. Okay. I don't want VNAV. How do I switch VNAV off? Go to vertical speed mode. There we go.
995 Foxtrot Lima. Contact breast control 120.15.
Contact breast control 120.15, November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Breast control, November 995 Foxtrot Lima, descending via LEL1 Juliet, flight level 189er.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Breast control. Radar contact.
Okay, so we're at the moment descending on vertical speed. We were using VNAV and we can switch back to that any time. Except we need to have 3,000 dialed in at Jersey to be able to do that effectively. The other way to do it, so we've got vertical speed and you've got the knurled wheel here, and we've got 1,500 feet per minute, and we can just use the knurled wheel to change those values to increase and decrease. But what we can also do is go to flight level change. So let's go to flight level change. Let's dial in 240 knots, and I want to descend at 240 knots. So I'm just going to bring out the power levers. Now the aircraft, to maintain 240 knots, okay, which I've told it to do, it's got to put the nose down, because it can't do 240 knots without power. Okay, so it's really descending quickly now, 2,700 feet per minute. Let's increase the power, and by increasing the power our rate of descent here will change. Okay, so you can actually descend on flight level change as well. Okay, so we will come down again at a steady 1500 feet per minute, but we'll do it on flight level change.
Contact Jersey Control Approach 125.205 November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
Okay, so
Jersey Control, November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Good day, flight level 163 with information Foxtrot.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, Jersey Control Approach. QNH1016, expect the ILS runway 26 with the Jersey transition.
QNH1016, expect the ILS runway 26 with the Jersey transition. November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
okay, so I'm going to center my heading bug when it's rolled out, and just to recap on that method. Okay, flight level change is indicated airspeed. All right, so we're using, I'm just going to center the heading bug. So we're using flight level change, which is set, 240 knots, which is set, and I'm using the power of the engines to adjust our rate of descent. So at the moment we're doing minus 1,400. So if I increase the power, the rate of descent will decrease because we're adding more power, and to keep 240 knots, which is I've asked it to do, it has to reduce the rate of descent. If I reduce the power in order to keep 240 knots, which is again the speed I've asked it to do, it's got to increase the rate of descent. It's got to point downhill more. Of course it has. Makes sense. So you can adjust very finely the rate of descent and maintain an accurate speed. You know, a requested speed. AT might ask you to maintain 230 in the descent. Okay, so there we go. So we've got 10,000 to go, and we've got 22 miles to run to, I believe, Jersey. So actually we need to really reduce the power, and we need to really come down quite smartly now, because I was playing around a little bit too much there. So we're coming down now at 3,000 feet per minute. That's probably a little bit excessive. So basically we need to be at Jersey VOR at 3,000, and we are now at 12.6, so we've got just under 10,000 to lose. 10 times 3 is 30 miles. So yeah, we need to and we've only got 20 miles to do that in, so we need to expedite. Okay, so 10,000 feet. I think it's time to get them strapped in. I should have done that earlier. Oh, you in the back. Can we see Jersey yet? No. Yes, we can. There it is. Right, so let's just get the approach chart. So we've got the ILS here. So we go overhead Jersey. We go outbound on the 124 radial to 8.5 DME from Jersey, and so from IDD, sorry, from the ILS, and then it's a left turn to establish, and we go overhead 3,000, descending 2,000. So I need to read the DME from here, which is the ILS. I'm going to center my heading bug. Very quickly going to go to heading. Oh no, I'm not going to change things around. So we'll go outbound on 124. So 124, let's get the heading set now. 124. 124. 124 set and checked. We're at 5,000 feet. Sorry, 5,000 to go. 11 miles. Yeah, we should do that. but one of the only times it's actually not offered to give me vectors, which I'm quite pleased about, because normally it just says you're having vectors, but I don't want vectors, really I don't, to do it myself. Okay, so we've got now 8.5 I think it is to Jersey, so we'll just level off and we can slow down, max 185 on the speed. In the procedure, so we're okay at the moment. I'm going to zoom in on this. There we go. There, we can see the island of Jersey. Can we see Jersey? That's Jersey still. I don't know if we can see Guernsey. Anyway, let's focus on what we're doing, I think. So we've got 4 miles to run. 1,500 feet to lose, which is perfect because that will allow us to level off and decelerate to 185. Okay, so we're below the standard pressure, so we'll do PFD options, standard pressure, and we'll do B, and that's set 1016. We go to heading mode now because we're above the VOR. Well, we weren't quite, to be honest, so that turn was a little bit premature. Let's just roll out there for a moment, and we're just reducing now. You see, it was starting its turn before we got overhead Jersey VOR. Well, that's okay. 2000 set and checked. Okay, and we're now going overhead the VOR. That's the blue needle. So now we can go on to heading mode to take up 1, 2, 3. I think it was 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. And we can come down now, vertical speed, come down 700 feet per minute, that'll do nicely, and we're about 185 knots. We go heading mode. I pressed heading mode twice, and that takes you into roll mode, so that was my bad, we're slightly out of position, but that's okay. Right, and we get to 8.5 on the ILS
November
here.
995 Foxtrot Lima,
Which
2
is
miles from CF26, turn left, heading 350, maintain 2,000 feet until established on the final approach course.
Right, so turn
Clear
left,
ILS
350.
runway 26.
Turn left, heading 350, 2,000 feet until established. Cleared ILS runway 26, November 995
So
Foxtrot Lima.
350.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, contact Jersey Tower 119.455.
And change from
Contact Tower
GPS to the
119.455,
ILS frequency.
November
There it
995
is.
Foxtrot Lima.
1 stage of flap.
Jersey Tower,
Bit
November
of power,
995 Foxtrot Lima.
counteract the drag.
ILS runway 26.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, Jersey Tower, wind 280 at 1 tree, runway 26 cleared to land.
Okay, so yeah, I think I should have
Cleared to land, November
done my own
995 Foxtrot
turn
Lima.
really, rather than take the vector that they offered me, because that's taking me a little bit short. But anyway, what I'll do is I'll just take up another smaller intercept very shortly. Now we're below the glide. Now we're doing about 170 knots. Did we get clearance to land? Cleared to land, yes. So we can go, landing lights can come on. There we go. There we go. So we do approach, and the aircraft will now pick up the ILS. We'll just center our heading bug. As always, we're just going to fly through it probably. I'm not too worried about that. So we're on approach mode. We've flown through it a little bit because all that happened rather quickly. Just going to go speed up, so I don't want to slow down too much. Okay, so it's going to just take another cut now. Yeah, that's remarkably bad flying on my part, but anyway. And the glide is not coming in yet, so that's okay. The localizer's coming back, so we're nearly half scale deflection, so we can call established on the localizer, but we got clearance to land, so we don't need to call them now. So we're 150 knots. Okay. So we're established on the localizer very nicely. Can't see very much. And save the flap. Look at this thing, lovely. And where is the glide? Is that not an ILS? Yeah, I think it is, but I think I'm just being a bit impatient. It will come in. Let me try that again. It better come in. Okay. Mustn't get switched off the yaw damper. Right, glide's coming in, so we can dirty up when we get to half scale. So coming up to half scale, flaps 3. And we won't let it get too slow. It's going to start going down the hill now. Here we go. Okay. So we've got flaps 3, landing lights are on, passenger signs are on. And again, I'm using a little magenta speed prediction to help me set my throttles. And we're on flaps 3, 1 to go, and runway in sight. And again, just as a disclaimer, I'm rusty because I've been away for a week. So anyway, we're just passing 1600, so full flaps. Just check visually. Yeah, full flaps we have. Landing lights on and passenger signs are on. So what's the wind? Pretty much on the nose, 15 knots. So 280 at 15, at 13 they said. Oh, that's okay. And again, these are aircraft that are certified for single pilot operation, which means that they've got to be easy to use for a single person to operate. You can get all your charts, by the way, in the Mustang, approach charts and what have you. Let's go back. Okay, so 1,000 feet. That's a good point to switch off the autopilot. Autopilot is off. Yaw damper is off. They go yellow, then they disappear. Okay, and I'm just going to keep that heading the glide slope in the middle. There we go. All that creaking, by the way, is my old equipment, my old faithful Cytec yoke and Cytec pedals, and they are very noisy. I've got them mounted on an MDF platform, so there's a lot of creaking. I'm aware of it, and I don't know how to fix it. So, whoops, that's just a little bit low. There you go, 2 reds, 2 whites again. Oh. Active Sky is very good at making things. Okay, so powering off, holding it 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 off, on the centre line, there we go. And gentle braking. There are no thrust reversers on this, so we won't make that turn.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, exit left at Delta.
Delta.
Exit left at Delta, November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
Okay, so we don't clean up until we've got the other side of the hold. Okay, so hopefully this is Delta. So we need to get to the other side of the hold.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima, contact ground 121.905.
Okay, come to stop. Now we can tidy up. So flaps car.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
Strobe light can come off. Taxi light can come on. Okay, and now we do taxi to the ramp.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Request taxi to the ramp. November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Welcome to Jersey Airport. Say parking or advise if need assignment.
No, I'm not going to ask them for a particular parking spot. We're just going to go around the back where the rich toys can go with their expensive toys. And of course there's a tug there in the way, we'll just avoid him. Oh, and a pushback truck, yes, thank you.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Welcome to Jersey Airport. Say parking or advise if need assignment.
We'll just say any ramp.
Any ramp is fine. November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
So we'll carry on along here.
November 995 Foxtrot Lima. Ramp for 5 taxi via Juliet.
Yeah.
Ramp for 5 taxi via Juliet. November 995 Foxtrot Lima.
Okay. And this is where we started our flight the other day in the Mustang. I don't know where we park here, so we're just going to put it in the middle because all of it is ours. Okay, so parking brake on, taxi light off, engines have a nice cool down period, transponder can come standby, engines number 2 off, number 1 off, ignition off, off, fuel pumps off, hydraulic pump off, bleeds off, cabin pressurization off, and alerts, right, passenger signs, okay, and we can let them out. So where is the click spot? Where is it? There it is. Click spot. And they want their bags, so we'll open up the we get the chocks and we get the cargo doors, and we'll have a quick look outside. So there we go. That is flight in an Embraer Phenom from Southend to Jersey. Welcome to Jersey. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye now.